Hello and welcome back to another special episode of the Owl Pod. This is our second Owl Podlet, a supplemental piece of material for the main feed. This week, it will be just me and Anne talking about Final Fantasy. Last week, me and Robert talked about anime, so if you want to watch that, go ahead and watch it. And this is a very important time to bring up, there is a dangling thread from last week. Robert told me that I had to ask you, Anne, about Skate Infinity. So what's up with that?
So I don't watch that much anime, but when I do watch anime, a lot of the time it's sports anime. I don't know why. I just like sports anime. And probably the most recent sports anime, I think, in general, but definitely the most recent one that I've watched is Skate the Infinity. It's about skateboarding. Like most sports anime, there's usually no women and they're all just cute guys. So it's just cute guys skateboarding. That's the show. Except it's a lot. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it because it's genuinely really good. I really like Skate. We should watch it together sometime, Marcus.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, Robert said the same thing. He just kind of popped up randomly. He's like, this was such a good anime, and I know nothing about it.
No, it was really good. Like, the premise is so stupid. It's just like, guys skateboarding, but so why was it so good? Like, why was the animation so good? Why was it heartbreaking? I don't know.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. So there's that follow-up from last week. You probably haven't watched last week's episode.
No, I've been busy, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll watch it eventually. It's just, I had a lot of stuff to do.
I mean, most of the time you're on the episodes, so it doesn't, like, you have no reason. But last week was special. You weren't there, so you could see what happened.
That is true. I will make a note of it to watch it.
And I'll have to tell Robert to watch this week, because this week it's you and me talking about Final Fantasy. Why don't you explain a little bit about your relationship with Final Fantasy?
Alright, so I've been a Final Fantasy player all my life. Of course, as most people started with 7, maybe some 8, maybe some 9. I really fell in love with the series with Final Fantasy X. And kind of just went from there.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Final Fantasies are Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy XII, and today's topic, Final Fantasy XIV. And I have have to ask,
Yeah, so
Marcus,
you definitely told me
how much
bits
do you
of the
know
story
about
in
Final
the
Fantasy
past,
XIV's
and I am pretty
story
sure I
through
forgot
just
everything you told
general
me.
osmosis from what you may
So
have heard from
yeah,
me,
I know.
what
I
you see on the
remember some
internet? Do you
keywords. I
know
remember
anything?
primals are a big threat in the universe. There's the blind cat girl who everyone likes.
Okay.
It looks, yeah, that's what I remember. It certainly will be. You have pictures, in fact. That'll be interesting. This will be the first episode to have a
Good
visual
job.
component. Previously, they've
Good
just
job.
been
So
a
today's
screenshot of our
episode will be
logo, but
very
now
fun
we'll
and
get to
informative to
see
you.
what's going on. And the listeners can follow along as well.
have
In the description,
pictures.
there is a link to a Google Doc that we are both looking at, so you can go to that and follow along with our pictures and the paragraphs Anne has wrote. So go ahead and do that and follow along.
Yes, I worked very hard on this, so I hope you enjoy this, and I hope everyone else does too. And ultimately, I think that everyone should play Final Fantasy XIV. It's free up to the end of Heavensward, and it's great.
Do you
That's
have
all.
the meme
So if
memorized?
I don't have the meme memorized. Hold on.
Because at work, people say that like all the time. Because there's a lot of Final Fantasy fans at my work. I work sort of in relation with Nintendo, so there's a lot of gamers there, and they spout that meme a bunch. They're all into it.
Yeah, it's have you heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV? With an expanded free trial, which you can play through the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 for free with no restrictions on playtime.
And there's often just like one person who's really excited, and the person listening is just like, please stop talking to me.
Well, just so you know, the meme is true. It is free. And that's hundreds of hours of stuff. If you had any sort of desire to play Final Fantasy XIV before today, go do it. Don't listen to this. If you're not sure, listen to this, and hopefully this would inspire you to go see this story with all its, like, in its full glory, with all the music and the visuals, and not just an abridged version, which I'm giving you today. So, while I'm going through this, if you have any questions, just stop, let me know. A lot of this doesn't go over any side quests. It skips a lot of, like, very specific character development, character interaction. It's just the bare bones. So there is a lot missing, but this is the most important stuff to know to understand the story.
Okay. Yeah, and how long has this game been going for since the 2.0 release?
Since 2.0, I believe it's been 8 years. Since the full game was released with the disastrous 1.0, it's 10 years. So this year is the 10-year anniversary.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
Maybe we can finally get some search engine optimization going.
Hooray! All right. So, you have your thingy up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's being recorded.
We are starting with the first expansion released after the 1.0 release. This is called A Realm Reborn, or ARR for short. And of course, it starts with, we call A Realm Reborn 2.0, because 1.0 was the original game, which was terrible, objectively. So 2.0 was when the game was revived. So the story starts in Chapter 2, essentially. There's nothing from Chapter 1 that you need to understand the story of the rest of the game, so who cares?
Okay.
So Chapter 2.0, A Realm Reborn. We are introduced to the player character, which naturally, as an MMO, is you. So your character can look like anything that you like, but the default, people call him Meteor, or the Warrior Light, and he's just generic Mr. Final Fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm,
Nothing special about him.
I've seen the trailers. It's just white man. That's
It's
the
just
default
white man.
Warrior of Light.
So yeah, technically he's called Meteor, but for the sake of everything, we're going to be saying you or the Warrior of Light.
Okay.
We're introduced to the game floating around in space. It's all crystally and pretty and blue. And we hear a female voice saying, "Hear, feel, think." Now, of course, we don't really know what this means at the time. We're just kind of floating around. But then in our, like, pretty little crystal place, we see a scary man in a black coat, and he's very evil, and he comes with evil music. And we kind of do, like, a mini little fight scene. It's nothing special, right? And there's not that much dialogue. And we'll scroll down. You can see there's kind of like a map of our game. This is Eorzea. I don't know if you ever want to bring it back up, but
yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't think I ever actually saw it. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy in the past, but I don't think I ever realized what the map looked like. So it's, okay, big continent and then smaller island.
Yes. Technically, depending on which job you choose, the beginning of the game changes very slightly. So we are just going to go over, from what I remember, how I started the game. So, the Warrior Light wakes up from this kind of vision of the scary man in the black coat, and they are on a caravan going into Ul'dah, which is the capital of Thanalan, the desert in the south. And you can see there's a picture of Ul'dah, or like a concept art underneath. We see kind of like the general vibe of Thanalan.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like kind of like sub-Saharan Africa almost.
Yeah. On the caravan are just some merchant dude who's talking to us. It's kind of like exposition. And two characters named Alfino and Alice Levier. They will be important later, so here is pictures of them.
I see them, yes.
Yes, they are twins. Surprisingly.
Little elf people.
Little elf people. And we go on our way. We're doing advancing stuff. It's generic fantasy, like, go kill these mobs, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that. But then we get a mission to go search for someone named Lady Lilira. We don't know who Lady Lilira is, but we go do it anyways. We find Lady Lilira, but as we do, we're attacked by a scary monster. And we're like, wow, this is really scary. What do we do about this? But then this guy, he's called the Handsome Stranger. He shows up. And it is like he's just called Handsome Stranger until like the big reveal of what his name is, which is not a big reveal because so what? It's just Thancred. His name is Thancred.
Okay, I think I've heard this name before. He's a fan favorite character, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He has a lot of memes about him. So this is Thancred. We're just gonna call him Thancred, not Handsome Stranger. And you can scroll down. His full name is Thancred Waters, and that's him.
Oh wow, an anime looking guy.
Leave him alone.
He's got a gun sword, of course.
Yeah, so when he first starts the game, he does not have a gun sword. So a lot of these outfits, just imagine that they do change outfits periodically.
Okay. Oh man, they get new drip over time?
They do. This is his drippiest form.
Okay.
Then he helps us, and he's like, cool. And we're like, cool, thank you, Thancred. And then he leaves. Then we go do more adventuring stuff. And then in the middle of our adventuring stuff, we meet another scary black man. Sorry. Another scary man in a black coat.
Is it the same scary man, or is it someone else?
I don't remember. It could be different. Doesn't matter.
Oh, interesting.
And this time he summons a scary monster to help him. So it's a scary man in a black coat and a demon monster. But then we find out that we have something called the Echo, which lets us see visions of the past. And we defeat the guy. And Thancred helps. And then he's like, do you want to join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? And then we can't say no because it's an MMO. And then there would be no story if we said no.
Okay, are you going to get into what these Scions are? Are they like the Avengers?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, so the Scions are basically an impartial kind of, not a political group, but they're an impartial group that political parties will call upon to solve issues. They kind of cross country borders type of thing.
Okay.
I don't know what you call that. The Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the Avengers. So scrolling down, we have some of our Scions. We have Minfilia Ward. She is the leader.
No, okay.
Very, very pretty, very blonde.
Human looks like, not an elf.
Yeah, she's a human. We have Oriander Augerelt. I've never heard his last name said in the game, so forgive me. Oriander. And he is the brains #1. They're all kind of the brains, so... He doesn't really do anything special at this moment, but he's smart. He's very smart, and he's an elf. And he is not drippy, sorry.
Oh, man. Well, you don't think... I mean, yeah, I did think he looked like a big nerd when I first saw him, so...
Yeah. Scrolling down, we got Ida Hext. She kind of punches things. That's what she do. She's also a human. We've got Papalimo Totolimo, and he's just an old guy who is also very smart. And he is a Lalafell, so he doesn't look old, but he is old.
Yeah, they all look like children.
Yes, they do. Scrolling down more, we have Y'shtola Rule. She is the token cat girl, and her special power is she is also smart, just like the rest of them.
Oh wow, so special.
Yeah,
this is the cat person I knew about, Y'shtola.
Yeah, and then there is one more I did forget to put a picture of, but it is a purple-haired Lalafell. Her name is Tataru Taru, and she is the accountant. So
the accountant, huh?
She's an accountant. Yeah.
So her special power is she can do math.
Yeah. She's good at doing math.
Okay, sounds like a real strong group of Avengers we got here.
Right? So, our first task in the Scions is to go around, see the different cities and their leaders. So we start in Ul'dah because we are in Ul'dah. We start in Ul'dah. The leader of Ul'dah is, shock and awe, Lady Lilira, the person that we just saved. That is her alias. Her actual name is Nanamo Ul'Namo, and she's the Sultana of Ul'dah. Her bodyguard is General Rauban Alden. You can see them here.
Okay.
And their grand company is called the Immortal Flames.
Okay, is that just like a local police force? What is that?
Kind of like their army of sorts, yeah.
Makes sense. And they're separate
Then,
from the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. They're not really related.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Scions of the Seventh Dawn are not a city-state. We don't have an army. It's just some smart guys in a building. Also, we all have the Echo. I should mention that. That's what makes us specials. We all have the Echo.
Okay.
Except for Ida. I think she just doesn't. I think she sucks. All right. And then next we go to Limsa Lominsa, which is the capital of Lenosha, which you can see it's kind of like it's a maritime city.
No, that is not how I would have pronounced that word.
Yeah, it's Lenosha. It's like a tropical kind of beachy place. I don't know exactly what you call this kind of environment. Mediterranean?
Could be. Based on the concept art, it's hard to tell. It looks just like a neat fantasy. It looks like Camino from Star Wars, but
I was also
fantasy.
like scrolling down that kind of nature.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's almost like kind of plains or something.
Like, yeah, kind of like coastal plains. That's how Lenosha is. The leader of Limsa Lominsa is. You pronounce this for me.
Okay. Chief Admiral Merlwib Blow Fishwin.
That's better than I thought you would do. Yes, it's Merlwib. She leads the Maelstrom. And she is not a human. She is a Rogadin, which is like giant people, kind of. She's very tall. She would probably do a big steppy.
And she has guns.
Yeah, she have gun. And then we go to Gridania, which is in the Black Shroud. And it is your typical fantasy city in the trees. Lots of like creatures called elementals and little like leaf people type of thing.
Very druid looking.
Yes. And they are led by the elder seedseer Can-Isena. She is not a human. She is something that we cannot play called a Pajali. And essentially what they are is that they were human, but they were chosen by the elementals or nature to become a Pajali and like listen to nature, and they live a really long time and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why she have horns.
Oh, I thought that was like a crown.
No. Those are her horns.
Okay, gotcha. That's cooler than just a crown.
All right, and then we can pick one. Thumbs up. I picked Maelstrom because they're cool. And then you go on your way. And in the game, there is moments where your alliance, your race, your gender do kind of influence dialogue in the game, but it doesn't actually influence the story. But it's just something cool that I like to hear whenever it's brought up. Yeah, like I play an elf, and it's really funny whenever people like there's like kind of like racial based insults. Like I think like if you're a Viera who's a bunny person, they call you carrot eater, or like if you're a Makode, which is the cat people, they call you like mongrel. And the best they can come up for the elven people, the Elazin, is knife ears.
Yeah.
Or like long neck. I love that. But anyways, we pick one, and then we go with Thancred to Thanalan, the desert, where we're investigating sussy things. We hear that there's bad things happening there. And then while we're there, we fall into a trap. And now we're being sacrificed to the primal Ifrit, the god of the Amalja. And there he is.
It's a cool design.
He is very scary.
It's like a skeleton Balrog.
A forbidden puppy.
Maybe.
But then when we're thrown in there, and the Amalja expect us to become enthralled or eaten or whatever, yeah, we're kind of like immune to god mind warp magic. So we beat him. Shrug.
Cool.
Yes, but then there is worse than primals. Worse than Ifrit, the Empire. Like all good fantasy games.
It is Star Wars.
The Empire. So scrolling down, we have some big Empire players. We have Gaius Van Belsar. He is like the leader. I don't know exactly what his like position is called, but he's very high up on the totem pole. He's basically the one that's invading Eorzea.
Okay, so the Empire are they like they're like technically in charge of the whole continent or whatever, but there's like, are we
No,
rebels? What is the
no.
relationship between Empire and the rest of the cities?
So the Empire is on a completely different continent called Ilsabard, and our people are on Eorzea, and they want to come over to Eorzea and take us over because they think we're savages.
Oh, so they're
And
British people.
they're British, yeah. And they have conquered other regions like Doma, Alamigo, Dalmasca. You may hear some of those in the future, but they're coming for us. But we're kind of cool in that Eorzeans can use magic.
Oh, they can't.
They can't. Garleans cannot use magic. So that's Gaius. You scroll down, we have Olivia Sass Junis? Juanis? I'm not sure. Never heard it said.
Oh my god, she
Livia
has gun
Sass-Junis.
gauntlets. What the hell?
Yeah, she has gun gauntlets. Did you not see his gun blade? Gaius's?
Oh, I didn't know. I thought
It's like a pistol with like
that. Huh. It looks like the bullet would just hit the sword, though.
it's fantasy.
Yep.
Leave him alone. And then we got Livia. Scrolling down, and then we have Nero Tolskeva.
Wow, they all have such cool drip.
They do. He has a gun axe.
Ooh. Yeah,
He's the drippiest. Changed my mind.
yeah, he looks like a Bionicle to me.
He does. And yeah, so they are very bad and mean. They hate primals and they hate Eorzea. And anyways, we continue. We beat Titan. That's that chongy guy there.
Okay.
And then when we leave Titan, we found out that Livia, gun armlets, killed all of our minor NPC friends in the Scions.
Oh no.
So sad. She came and invaded our hideout and she killed everyone trying to figure out where we were, but they didn't tell because we're all such good friends. But then they died.
Wait, she killed
And
the Scions of the Seven Dawn?
The minor ones. So like the ones I had labeled earlier, they're all fine.
Oh, okay. There's more to
Yeah.
that, I see.
Yeah. The quest line afterwards has you carrying the bodies of your friends to bury them, which is great to see. Like you open your inventory, it's just like a little flower that's like Scion corpse, and I'm like, what?
Oh, how video games are so real.
And then scroll down, and then Garuda. Garuda is summoned by the Ixali, but we can't kill her yet because she flies and she controls the power of wind, so she could just push us away. So we had to get an airship to somehow get to Garuda.
Airship, classic Final Fantasy staple, from what I understand.
Yes. And then, so with the help of Sid Garland, we find him and we befriend him. He's a Garlean who defected from Garlemald, which is the Empire. The Empire is called Garlemald. So he's an Imperial.
Okay.
With his help, we go to Corthus, which is like the snowy north, to search for his crashed ship from however long he's been here.
This is Skyrim.
Yeah.
This is just Skyrim.
We go to Skyrim. So scrolling down, here's the picture of Sid. He's very big, buff Imperial man.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I forgot, at some point, Alphino, which is the boy twin, he joins the Scions, but I forgot when. So, he's there, by the way.
Gotcha. But his sister did not join?
No.
You
scroll down a little bit more, you can kind of see what we're looking at when it comes to Corthus. Skyrim.
Yeah. I just saw this a second ago. It looks just like a screenshot from Skyrim.
In Corthus, we befriend Sir Harshafont Greystone and the house he works for, House Fortom of Ishgard. Now, Ishgard is the last big city that's in Eorzea. So we have Ul'dah, Gridania, Limsa Lominsa, and Ishgard. However, Ishgard is extremely isolationist, and they have not let anyone in for a very, very long time. They are just kind of racist elves living in their giant castle city in the north. They want nothing to do with anyone. However, there is outposts outside of Ishgard in the Corthus area, and That's where Harshafant is from. He's in the House for Tom outpost. And Harshafant is very, very friendly by the time you reach the end of like this kind of Corythus quest line. Very friendly. Let's just say that. Scroll down a little. Here's a little bit of Harshafant. Sorry, he has like a little. I couldn't find like a cool picture of him, so he gets a goober picture.
Yeah, he's just in basic chainmail.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, goober.
Yeah. And so we find the ship, and we have a new friend named Harshafant Greystone. And we get on the ship. Sid fixes it, and we go to fight Garuda. Then we go beat Garuda butt. But before we can kill her for good, Gaius Van Belsar shows up. Then he has like a whole bunch of like native peoples, like all the beast tribes and stuff. He has them all there. And then he insults everyone and makes them all so mad that they summon their own primals again. So they resummon Ifrit, they resummon Titan, they resummon Garuda. But then he brings out his Ultima weapon, which is what he wanted all along, is he wanted to fuel his Ultima weapon with primal energy. So the Ultima weapon, as you can see here, there it is. Gaius rides in it like a Gundam, I guess.
Again, this is very Bionicle. This looks just like Makuta from Bionicle.
The Ultima weapon actually physically eats the primals, and it powers up, and now it's strong. And he's going to use it to go kill other primals and bring Eorzea to its knees. Then we work together to assault the Garlean strongholds and free allies, weaken the Empire. But then we find out that Thancred has been possessed by the Ascian Laha Brea, and the Ascians are those scary guys in the black coats. He's been possessed this whole time.
Okay, so at this point, there's a couple of enemies. There's these primals, which are kind of like nature bad guys, I guess. There's
like false gods, yeah.
Okay. Then there's the Empire, which they're British people, so of course they're bad guys. Mm-hmm. And these Ascians, they look like cultists, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Okay, I'm getting a picture. There's lots of threads, lots of bad people being introduced.
Lots of bad people. And we can scroll down. I don't know if you already did. That's Laha Brea. He's looking quite evil in this picture.
Yeah, with a red mask.
Yeah.
He looks just like the final. No, what is it? It's not Final Fantasy. It's Kingdom Hearts. He looks like Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts.
They're kind of Organization 13 coded, the Ascians, which is funny because there's 13 of them.
Oh my god.
It's quite funny. But anyways, going through the strongholds, we defeat Nero and Livia. Gaius gets his butt beat, but he jumps into the Ultima weapon. But he loses control of it because Laha Brea is messing with it. And so Laha Brea is like, haha, this is all according to my plan. And Gaius is like, curse you, Ascian.
Oh, so they don't get along either. Interesting.
They thought that they got along. Mm-hmm. But then at the last minute, Laha Brea is like, actually, I don't care about what you're doing. I only care about what I'm doing. And what the Ascians want to do is cause chaos. That's their goal.
Okay, yeah, so just like doomsday cultists, basically.
Yeah.
And who are Nero and Livia?
Nero and Livia are the two other drippy soldiers. Nero was the one in the red armor with the gun axe.
Yes.
And Livia is the white armor with the gun arms.
Okay. Oh man, they had so much drip though. Did they get killed or are they just defeated?
It's up for you to decide.
Oh.
We'll see.
Awesome.
Laha Brea makes Ultima weapon cast Ultima, which is an extremely strong spell. Ultima destroys everything around it, including itself and Gaius. However, we don't get destroyed because we are protected by a blessing from the mommy crystal we saw at the very beginning of the game. Her name is Heidelin, and she comes and speaks to us, and she says, you need to defeat the darkness. Here is my gift. And we're like, okay. And Laha Brea is mad about this, and we fight him, and we defeat him and push him away from Thancred's body. So we don't kill Laha Brea, We just make them go away. And we get Thancred back.
Okay, so cultists repelled, the Empire mech
Exploded.
destroyed. Okay, everything is coming up for the Scions, except for all the death that happened earlier. That's kind of a bummer. But hey, turning things around.
That is a bummer. We win. Primals, Empire, Ascians defeated. Venphilia says, good job. That's it for Chapter 2.0, A Realm Reborn.
Okay, so is that the main game? Like, that is the entire main plot when 2.0 released?
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty digestible.
There is a lot of, like, kind of... A Realm Reborn is very world-building. So, like, the overall arcing plot is pretty simple. But there is, like, a lot of, like, just cool things about the world that you learn that all build upon each other going into the future.
Very cool.
All right. Chapter 2.1 is A Realm Awoken. Scions, they still want to maintain political neutrality. Super cool. Then we meet a white-robed Ascian named Elidibus. He wants to make peace between mortals and Ascians.
Oh, so are Ascians, like, more powerful than just people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mughals summon Primal Great King Mughal because they can. So we have to go kill Great King Mughal. Super cool. That's it. That's the whole patch. That's the whole chapter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then so we go to chapter 2.2, Through the Maelstrom. Garlemald is going through an internal struggle after the fall of Gaius in Eorzea. We don't know what happened to the Emperor. So Garlemald's kind of going through an internal struggle. We don't know the particulars because Garlemald's kind of far away, and we are not Garlean.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter to us. But they're... Okay, so I guess the destruction of their super mecha kind of maybe caused some issues for them.
Yeah, and they're like army's like main commander. So, because Gaius was really, really high up.
Okay, so yeah, it's like when the Death Star exploded in Star Wars and Grand Moff Tarkin was killed. It's just like that.
Sure.
Telling this to someone who hasn't seen Star Wars.
Yeah, I believe you. So, we meet a woman named Yugiri Mistwalker. She appears with refugees from the kingdom of Doma. They tried to overthrow Garlemald in their region, but failed, so they ran away. The Domans are rejected by every city-state when they ask for shelter. Only Mordona, who is like, they're not a country themselves, they're just kind of the city that's not a country. But Mordona accepts them.
Okay, and are these the Domans on the left here, these purple hooded figures?
Yeah, that's Yugiri Mistwalker.
Okay.
The Domans, they're just humans.
Oh, alright.
Then the Ascians are convincing more and more beast tribes, or like native tribes, to summon primals. The Sahagin summon Leviathan. He is a fish.
Yeah.
And then we defeat Leviathan, because of course we do.
Is this Leviathan? The blue... This is a fish?
Yeah, it's like the blue fish dragon.
Oh. Yeah, to me he's very dragon coded. I wouldn't suspect fish upon seeing him.
Okay, he's a sea dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, chapter 2.3, Defenders of Eorzea. Alphinaud doesn't like the city-states because they kind of rejected refugees, like the Doman refugees. They don't also like to do anything. So he decides to make his own grand company, or like militia, called the Crystal Braves. There's like 5 million political drama things that I don't want to cover, such as people trying to pass bills to reclaim land that holds Allagan artifacts, like the Omega weapon. Allagans being like a very ancient civilization that were very advanced. And we have lost all of their technology.
Oh, like a precursor race. There's always got to be a precursor.
Yeah, it's a precursor race. That's the Allagans.
I have to assume that all the political stuff is actually really important, or like really cool if you dig into it. Just off of
it's very cool.
Yeah, what I know of like all kinds of stories like this, the political aspect is always just like super interesting and like, oh, everything makes sense now. It's everything clicks together.
It's very interesting, but we would be here for 6 hours if I tried to cover all like the land treaties and like the conversations. It's nuts. But an important person to take note is Teleji Adeleji. He is a Lalafell from Ul'dah. He's a monetarist. He likes money, and he does everything he wants for money. He wants Omega weapon for money, but he's important. Remember him.
He's a capitalist.
He's a capitalist. Them Lalafels. The Sylphs summon the primal Rama, but Rama is willing to talk to us. We still end up fighting him though. But interestingly enough, that's when we learn that primals don't automatically attack us. We know that they can talk because Garuda talks, but Rama is the only one so far who's had a conversation with us. And basically his conversation boils down to like, hey, go away. This is my forest and the Sylphs are my people. And we say like, you can't live, you're like destroying the land essentially. And he's like, if you can defeat me, I guess. That's fine. And then we do. He says, okay. So scrolling down, you can see him, Ramo. He's really cool. He's got a beard.
He's got a very big beard. It's bigger than his body.
He's powerful. Then we have Urianger. He says the Ascians are immortal, but he has an idea of how to trap them and stop them. All right, chapter 2.4. We have Dreams of Ice. There is a spy in the midst, specifically someone named Aline. She's been a Giga spy and has been feeding information to and about all sorts of factions between, like, she has no alliance. She loved money too. So she's been taking information, giving information to the Ul'dah monetarists, the Grand Companies or the militias, Garlemald, and the heretics of the Dravarian Horde or dragon worshippers.
Okay.
But she is the first person to tell us that the War of Succession is over in Garlemald and there is a new emperor, Varus Zos Galvis. Aline has given information to the heretics, and the heretics of the Horde are now interrupting trade routes to Ishgard, the isolationist city. The heretics are led by someone named Lady Iceheart. Then the Lord Commander of Ishgard, Sir Amric de Borel, comes to us for help because of these interrupted trade routes.
Oh my god, it's the beginning of the Phantom Menace. The trade routes, it all comes back to Star Wars.
So we can scroll down, we can see Amric de Borel.
Oh, he's got an awesome sword.
He does have he has drip.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to point out, I don't know what this character is called. I'm looking it up right now. There is a character in Dark Souls 3 who says, like, he says conniptions.
Yeah, that's Hawkwood.
So the voice of Hawkwood, it's Amric.
Oh, that's very cool.
He has like this very nice voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in mind.
Okay, yeah. I like this guy.
I mean, I think in general, I don't want to spoil it too much. I'm going to spoil it anyways. You'll like Ishgard. Ishgard is very, like, gothic.
Yeah, I remember. I think I've seen kind of what it looks like. It is very castle-y.
It's awesome. And now we have Dark Souls voice actors.
Epic.
And so we scroll back down, and we track down Lady Iceheart. We find out she wants to summon the primal Saint Shiva to end the Dragon Song War, which is apparently the war the Ishgardians are involved with dragons.
Okay, so they probably want to kill the dragon worshippers, I assume? The heretics of Dravian? Yeah,
so Lady Iceheart is the leader of the heretics, and she wants to end the war, and this is her.
Okay. So she's probably going to summon Saint Shiva is probably a dragon, I would assume, and then just, like, kill him. Makes sense.
All right, and then Minfilia calls an old friend named Moenbrita to help devise a way to follow Lady Iceheart, because Lady Iceheart is quite difficult to follow. Moenbrita also likes to kiss Urianger, probably. It's not even heavily implied. It is fact at this point that Urianger and Moenbrita are kind of like childhood sweethearts. And I didn't put a picture of Moenbrita, but she's also part of like the giant race, so she's like taller than Urianger. And she gives him like a crush hug. He's very shy about it. It's very cute. And she has also come with a way to kill Ascians for good. Something called White Auracite.
Okay, because The last guy just thought of a way to trap them, but she wants to kill them, or knows how to kill them.
So we are able to follow Lady Iceheart with Moenbreda's help. We catch her, but she turns herself into Shiva. Not summons Shiva, but turns herself into Shiva.
Looks like she is not a dragon. She's just a dripped out person.
Yeah. She's sexy lady. We beat her, but she doesn't die. She tells us that we are stupid for trying to stop her, just like the Ishgardians are stupid. She tells us we are squandering Mother's gift, and she leaves us saying, hear, feel, think.
Oh, that's what was said at the beginning of the game.
Everyone is just kind of stumped at this point. Like, what do we do? Like, the primal woman, she kind of got away, and she can turn herself into a primal at will. There's a lot of angry dragon worshippers. There's a lot of Assassins being evil. Garlemald's becoming stronger again. Like, it's all going bad once more. Chapter 2.5, Before the Fall. So, a Crystal Brave, which again is Alphinaud's militia, named Riol, suspects corruption within the Crystal Braves. Sir Amaric's lieutenant Lucia comes to alert the Scions that a mighty dragon's roar was heard, calling all the dragons to war. People are afraid that this call woke up the Keeper of the Lake, a dragon who had died in Mordona fighting the Garleans of many years ago, and his corpse is just kind of sitting in the lake. And he's very, very big.
It's not very sanitary, not gonna lie.
It's not. And then we go to look at the Keeper of the Lake to see if he's awoken, and yeah, he is.
So are dragons, problematic?
You'll see.
Okay.
So the Keeper of the Lake is named Midgard-Sormr. He is the father of all dragons. He sees you and knows you are Heidelin's chosen. He says you need to see with eyes unclouded and strips you of your blessing of light, so you no longer have her protection.
Oh no.
He just, like, this is how strong dragons are. He just yeets it. And then, insult to injury, he turns into a little dragonlet to follow you around and see what happens.
Oh my god.
And so we scroll down, that's Midgard-Sormr.
Yeah, another, like, I think it's Chinese style again, sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of like half and half. They're interesting looking.
He's a tube boy.
He is a tube boy. So then an Ascian named Nabrialis takes this opportunity, now that we are no longer protected, to attack the Scions, and he kills Moenbreda. We chase him to the Chrysalis, which is kind of like an Ascian realm type of place, and we kill him using the white auracite, which is essentially we shove him into the crystal, like all of his energy, and then we break the crystal. So his energy is also shattered, and he can't recollect himself. Type of thing.
Interesting. So they have like energy that they can. I'm trying to understand their biology.
At this point, it is implied that Assassins don't have bodies. They are just energy that can go from place to place.
Okay.
That's why like La Habrea can possess a body and then leave.
Okay. And who was Moenbreda again? Or Moenbreda?
She is the one who came with the auracite. She's like, I know how to kill them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then she's also Urianger's kind of like girlfriend. So Urianger is very upset about this. He's very sad. And, like, he wears like a little potato sack. He's a little bit of a nerd boy, so it's very sad for him to lose his girlfriend. But we don't have time to mourn her, because the dragons are answering the call. However, none of the city-states want to help Ishgard, who is about to be attacked by a horde of dragons. And essentially the whole like logic is, why should we help Ishgard when Ishgard wouldn't help us fight the Garleans?
Yeah, all that political just like shenanigans.
Kind of ignoring the fact that Ishgard was fighting the dragons.
Oh yeah, they're just caught up in their own stuff. Yeah, different wars, different groups of people. So so Ishgard is on the main continent.
Yes, it's far north.
It's far, okay. Where is the Emperor's continent in like relation to the other continent?
Far east.
Okay. I'm getting a picture of the globe now.
Yes. It's not like, it's like in the middle. So like if we're thinking about a map of the world, Eorzea is like North America ish. And then the Empire is Europe. So in the middle, they're British. And then there's like, so they're not like far eastern. They're just more east than Eorzea.
Okay.
Alphinaud's pissed, justifiably. So he calls upon the Crystal Braves, his own militia, to go where the city-states won't. So we go to help Ishgard.
So
we're on this great...
If the dragons destroy Ishgard, is that a problem for the rest of Eorzea? Or does it just
We don't know.
Okay.
Well, that would really suck for the people of Ishgard.
Yeah, fair. I'm just trying to understand if they aren't thinking ahead, or if they are willing to just let it go to not... Yeah, anyway.
So we show up. We're not in Ishgard proper. We're on the bridge to Ishgard, because Ishgard is like over this great chasm. So we're on the bridge. Lady Iceheart breaks the magical walls surrounding Ishgard to let dragons invade. We destroy the dragons, including the great dragon Vishap. That's the boss fight. It's Vishap. And we're happy. We are invited to a feast to celebrate in Ul'dah. And Alphinaud is pissed again because all the city-states suddenly want to be friends with Sir Amaric now that the dragons are defeated. They're like, oh, cool. But in the party, Sultana Nanamo Ulnamo drinks something and collapses in pain before dying. She's been poisoned. Teleji Adeleji turns on us almost immediately and blames on us, and we are arrested for murder.
Oh no, I also forgot who both of these people are.
Sultana Nanamo is the leader of Ul'dah.
Okay,
She's like the pink-haired Lalafell, and Teleji Adeleji is the capitalist Lalafell.
He's guilty.
Yeah. He's guilty. But we are arrested for the crime. We're arrested for murder. And all the Scions are under arrest for conspiracy and murder. He claims that we're all witches, basically. Because his argument is well, how did they become friends with Ishgard so fast when Ishgard wouldn't talk to us for hundreds of years? How did they defeat the Garleans when the Garleans have been a problem for so long? How can they kill primals? Clearly, they're using their dark powers, and they're going to turn on all of us. So we're witches, basically. That's his argument.
It's pretty flimsy, not gonna lie.
He sucks. Raban, who is Nanamo's bodyguard, he's like that big guy who carries her. He goes sicko mode, and when he hears that Nanamo died, and kills Teleji, slices him straight down the middle.
Ooh.
Raban would have gone sicko-er mode, but he's stopped and dismembered by the leader of the Crystal Braves, Ilberd Fear. Who's that? He also gets a goober picture.
Yeah, he's wearing a poncho.
His little...
This is not drip. This is F tier drip, I'm sorry.
It is F tier.
The color is good.
It's all conspiracy. The Ul'dah monitors bought out the Crystal Braves, who are Alphinaud's militia, and plotted to kill the Sultan and get rid of the Scions in one fell swoop. Diabolical.
Oh no. How? So I guess Alphinaud can't really control everything going on in his militia. It's just too big for him.
Yeah. Also, remember, Alphinaud's 14.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or that's important to keep in mind. Alphinaud's 14. So Raban picks up his sword and starts swinging, although he only got one arm. He tells all of us to run while he holds them back. So Ida and Papalimo, so the fighter girl and the Lalafell, get trapped in the streets of Ul'dah. Thancred, Y'shtola, and Minfilia get presumably crushed in the sewers when it collapses, leaving only us, the Warrior of Light. Outside the city, we meet with the only two remaining Scions who got away, Alphinaud and Tataru, so the 14-year-old and the accountant.
Oh no! And does Warrior of Light still not have their Blessing of Light?
No.
Oh. Damn, the Avengers have fallen!
They have fallen, so we are wanted criminals, and the Crystal Braves have control of all of our previous assets. We have no allies, unless we go to the only people outside of Eorzea proper who trust us. That's Sir Amaric de Borel and House Fort Thompson Ishgard.
Hell yeah, okay, yeah. So helping Ishgard's paying off.
Helping Ishgard is paying off.
Except
so
Alphinaud's militia was the one to go to Ishgard, right?
Yeah, so they helped They helped
Okay,
fight off the dragons in Ishgard.
but they're corrupt, so they could turn Nishgard against us still, since they were.
But the Crystal Braves are not in Ishgard. No one's in Ishgard. Because we didn't go into Ishgard, we only fought outside of it.
Okay.
And you have to remember, the connection we have in House Fortin is Lord Harshafron, who really, really likes us.
Oh, right. Okay, and you've posted.
So this
is Sir Emmerich. Yeah, very good fan art by. It looks like
it's awesome.
Looks like by MCG.Mark. It's the watermark at the bottom.
Very cool. And then I couldn't find a super cool one without looking really hard. But I didn't want to look really hard, so here's Harshafont in front of Ishgard. He's like, hey, welcome in.
He's still wearing his stupid chainmail.
He's a knight. Let him wear his chainmail.
And this fan art's by Matthew Metamore.
Hell yeah. And then this is kind of like a chapter 0, because technically this can happen at any point after chapter 2.0. That's the joy of doing an MMO, is that there's like all these like quests that you can do in really any order. But this is very important. That's why this is here. It has to be done, although when you do it, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So this is called the Crystal Tower. It's very abridged because I was running out of time.
Mm-hmm. We've been recording for almost an hour, and we're maybe halfway done with this.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay.
So basically, there's a spooky tower made of crystal, the Crystal Tower in Mordona, which people can't go into. They suspect it's Allegan tech. Spooky. We join a group called NOAA. It's an acronym for something I don't remember. With an upstart little cat boy named Graha Tia to investigate. Turns out he's descended from the ancient Alleg royal bloodline and can open and control the tower. We fight lots of stuff in there. We find out that it was being used by Allegans to summon void creatures, which are essentially demons from hell.
Oh dear. Another enemy. There's also a void.
Yes. Nero Tolskeva. You remember him? He's the guy with the gun axe.
Oh, yo!
He shows up and he helps us. He ends up getting trapped in the void to kind of like try to stop these monsters and was crystallized. But Une and Doga, doesn't matter who they are, they purify him. We defeat the bad, and Graha locks himself in the tower so it can never be used by anyone for bad.
Okay.
That's essentially the whole thing. We can scroll down. We see a picture of the Crystal Tower.
Big tower. Okay.
Very big. There's Graha Tia. I think he looks stupid. That's just me. And then here's Nero without his helmet on.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We're on to Heavensward.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that is everything up to the first major expansion. Hey guys, Marcus in editing here, and ended up talking about the first 2 expansions, Heavensward and Stormblood, for another full hour, and she used less pictures, so my baby brain became way less interesting to listen to, and still managed to keep her high level of enthusiasm the entire time, but I basically died. So it's getting cut from this video. If you want to see that extra hour, you can let us know in the comment below. Otherwise, we'll just keep working on Owl House stuff instead of this Final Fantasy stuff. Back to the episode.
And literally, that was everything until we got to Shadowbringers, aka winner of awards, plus 4.9 out of 5 stars, plus voted best Final Fantasy game ever.
Yeah,
and then I was like,
oh, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And then, this is when I was like, I can't do Shadowbringers and Endwalker too.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Any questions right off the bat?
I can't.
You just have to process it?
Yeah, it's too much. There's just too much.
All these things are suddenly like wrapping back into each other. You had said at the beginning there's like these 3 distinct kind of forces, the Primals, the Ascians, the Empire, and then we kind of at this point have figured out that they're all just one and the same. The Garleans are the Ascians, and the Ascians are tricking people into summoning Primals to weaken the world type of thing, cause chaos. And the world is getting darker and sad. It's all very sad.
Yeah, like that didn't come through so well, I guess, just because of just a block of text of quick
It
notes.
is. It is. But, obviously when you play this, there's like the visuals, the voice acting, and the music. The music is always like a really big factor. And I would have loved to go into the music of some of these things, but it's a lot. But a lot of times they're like lyrics also expand the lore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
it's so good.
you just
It's
spent
also
2 hours talking about the main story, so I guess it's safe to say you're a bit of a fan of this game.
It's so good. It really is. It's so difficult to get people to try and play it because it does have that MMO stigma to it. It is something that they're like working on because that is criticism that they have gotten and they're listening to, that people are upset that a Final Fantasy game is an MMO, and to play it
Yeah,
you have
like
to
I
play an
personally just I'm
MMO,
not into the MMO type of game. I don't think it's very fun, and I'm someone I hate playing games with people I don't know. I just like refuse to do it. I won't do it. So obviously an MMO that's the main drawing point. So it's not really my kind of thing.
So they're actually moving into it that you can complete the entire main story by yourself. So you have AI companions through a lot of these dungeons and battles where previously
That's
you
a cool
had to
thing. I
play
don't
with
think any
people.
other MMO has done something like that, but I'm not an MMO person, so I wouldn't know, I
No,
guess.
it's definitely very unique, but I think the story aspect is also extremely unique for an MMO. Usually stories in MMOs are not mandatory, or they're just not that good. Yeah, so that's it. Didn't even get into the two newest ones, which is like where all the crazy stuff happens. So this is like A Realm Reborn and Stormblood are kind of like the exposition to prepare you for Shadowbringers and Endwalker. But it's still really good. Like I said, I started playing in Heaven's Word. So I was playing for 2 full expansions. That's 4 years before they even released Shadowbringers, which blew everyone's minds.
Yeah, I remember around the Shadowbringers, like people were really, really into it. I'm on the internet and I still saw it, even though I'm not in Final Fantasy circles. Just being on the internet, I still saw things.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to escape it right now. It's a game that's becoming more and more popular. I think there is like a lot of memes that people are familiar with that don't even know about Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm. But
It's very pervasive. It's it's becoming a big thing.
yeah,
A very big
I'd
thing.
argue it's already a very big thing.
Well, it's becoming bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, next week, which is why I won't be in the next podcast. I'm going to FanFest for Final Fantasy. And apparently they're already decking out like the entirety of Las Vegas, the city, um, with like Final Fantasy trains. Like, what?
yeah, it's
Did
a big
World of
deal.
Warcraft ever do this?
I don't know. So World of Warcraft was more popular in a different time, so
Yeah.
things change. But yeah,
Things
it's
do
very
change.
cool. It's a big game. Everyone who wants to play it has no reason not to. It's free up till Heaven's Sword,
You can go
award-winning
through the
game.
entirety of Heaven's Ward.
You know,
And I'm pretty sure they're going to extend it to Stormblood soon. Like, the bigger the game gets, they could just make more and more of it free.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I know it's big. I know people lose their lives to this game, so I
Like
probably
me.
wouldn't. Yeah,
Goodbye.
yep, like you. um, that's just how much people like it. So, but that's it. We've gone through. This is so long. I can't possibly upload 2 hours, even edit it down. I might just. So I might end up just doing the 2.0 stuff as a podcast, and then maybe the other stuff as an extra, like a midweek thing. I guess I'll have to see how everything shakes out.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, maybe if you're listening to this and you're we only got through 2.0, sorry, but the main second wave of the game. Then there's a whole other hour of talking about the DLCs that we can watch, or are you seeing all of it at once? I guess I don't know yet, but that's what's going on. And with that, I guess we can just come to an end. I think there's nothing else to go over. You've been talking for so long.
I have, and I'm thirsty.
I mean, you've been talking for so long. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. This has been the Owl Pod. Next week, me and Robert will be back for something else. We have to figure it out. Maybe I'll do something like this, but for Bionicle lore. That would be funny.
That would be really funny.
Until then, follow the podcast, subscribe, like the video, follow us on social media. I just made a TikTok. I'll have to post something to there so it gets traction. Yeah, there's lots to go through.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.